They were never crowned. Their names rarely appeared in books. Yet, without them, medieval Europe might have never survived its darkest centuries. These were the women healers and herbalists, the silent heroes who fought disease, pain, and ignorance with nothing more than plants, knowledge, and courage. When you think of medieval medicine, you probably imagine monks in cold stone monasteries writing in Latin. But outside those walls, in humble cottages and village gardens, another kind of medicine was being practiced, one born from instinct, observation, and centuries of women's wisdom. In an age when science was forbidden to most women, they became scientists in secret, while men held titles like physician or scholar. Women became midwives, healers, and wise women, often the only ones their communities could trust. One of the most remarkable examples was Trotula of Salerno, a woman who lived in 11th century Italy. At a time when universities didn't even admit women, Trotula wrote groundbreaking medical texts on childbirth, women's health, and skincare. Her work, the Book of Women's Medicine, was used by doctors for centuries, but many male scholars later erased her name, attributing her books to men instead. Only in recent decades did historians uncover that Trotula was, in fact, a real woman, a pioneer of medicine long before Florence Nightingale was born. But Trotula was not alone. Across Europe, thousands of unnamed women worked as herbalists, midwives, and caretakers, blending practical skill with spiritual belief. They learned from nature, experimenting with plants like sage, rosemary, garlic, and yarrow. They discovered antiseptic properties in honey, pain relief in willow bark, and sleep aids in poppy seeds, centuries before modern science confirmed them. Many of these remedies became the foundation for modern medicine. In fact, aspirin, one of the world's most used painkillers, comes from the same willow bark these women used to ease fevers and aches hundreds of years ago. Yet, their courage came at a terrible cost. In the 14th and 15th centuries, as the church gained power and fear of witchcraft spread, these very women were accused of sorcery. A healer who cured a fever was suddenly called a witch. A midwife who saved a newborn could be condemned for using forbidden magic. Thousands of women were persecuted, silenced, and burned, not for evil, but for knowledge. Still, their legacy could not be destroyed. In hidden manuscripts, in family recipes passed from mother to daughter, their wisdom lived on. In rural villages, old women continued to whisper cures for colds, wounds, and childbirth pains, quietly preserving the science of life itself. One of the most extraordinary figures of this time was Hildegard of Bingen, a German abbess who lived in the 12th century. She wasn't just a nun, she was a visionary, composer, and healer who documented over 200 medicinal plants and their properties. Her writings combined theology with botany, making her one of the earliest holistic healers in Western history. Modern scientists have even verified that many of Hildegard's herbal treatments actually work. You see, these women didn't just heal bodies, they built bridges between faith and science, tradition and progress, earth and spirit. They were the caretakers of life in an age obsessed with death. Imagine the courage it took to stand against superstition, to heal without recognition, to risk everything for compassion, while knights fought wars and kings claimed glory. These women fought battles no one saw against infection, ignorance, and despair. They worked in shadows, but their light guided humanity through centuries of darkness. Today, when we talk about medical breakthroughs, we often name men Hippocrates, Galen, Paracelsus, but behind their fame stood unnamed women who tested herbs, tended to the sick, and kept knowledge alive when entire libraries burned. Their story is not one of weaknesses, it's one of resilience. They were scientists before science had a name. They were healers before medicine had degrees. And they were leaders long before they were allowed to lead. So next time you take a pill or sip herbal tea to ease a cough, remember you're holding the legacy of countless medieval women who made healing their mission. They may have lived in silence, but their impact still whispers through every drop of medicine, every cure, every heartbeat saved. These were the unsung heroes of medieval history, women who healed a world that barely believed in them. If you love discovering the story's history, try to forget the secret heroes, the hidden healers, the women who changed the world quietly. Then hit subscribe, like and share this video. Because when you do, you're not just watching history, you're helping to bring their voices back to life.